What's up, cooks? It's Wednesday, and look what I have in front of me. You see 4 food processors, all by KitchenAid. This is sort of my little food processor history. We're going to talk about some of these models that I have and what KitchenAid did when they upgraded a lot of these things. So, what's up? It's Wednesday. So what's going on? I've noticed over the course of the last week, since last What's Up Wednesday, we started talking about fall, and I'm kind of feeling like fall is upon us because the week has gotten a lot rainier, the temp is falling, so we need to start thinking about our holiday preparations. Now, food processors are one of my favorite kitchen toys. If you haven't seen some of my challenges, I'll put links down in the description to those. We've looked at the Cuisinart, the Breville, the KitchenAid, even some low-end Hamilton Beach food processors over the course of, I don't know, the last couple years. And those challenges were really fun. But today, this is all KitchenAid. And yeah, you see 4 food processors sitting here in front of me. And I know you're going to ask, why do I have 4 KitchenAid food processors? Eric's back there laughing, right? Because this is sort of the evolution of my love of KitchenAid and a love of food processors that started like in 2001 with this bad boy. And I think this might be like either a 9 or 11 cup. This is my very first food processor. And I was so happy when I got this food processor, and I used that sucker like crazy. But over the course of the time that I used it, the lid kind of got some cracks in it. And unfortunately, just about that time, you can still use it, of course. But unfortunately, about that time, I sought out to get a new lid for it. And KitchenAid came out with a new model. And they were no longer selling the parts for this one. So that means I had to go out and I had to buy a whole new food processor.
11 cup. You had to justify it.
So I had to put my old baby to the side. This food processor still works, and I had to put him aside, and I got this one. This was sort of around the 2011-2012 time frame. And what they did between this one and this one, there wasn't a lot of differences between the blades and stuff, but what they did is this is like a total redesign from this. They rounded out the base of it, and I love this food processor. If you watch my food processor pie crust video, this is a food processor that I used in that video. I love this thing, and I used it for a long time. But there was a massive change in what KitchenAid had on their food processors when they bumped up to the current model. And when that happened, the first thing I thought was, no, right? I love this thing, and I won't be able to get parts for it again. And yes, that has happened. I can't get parts for this anymore. But I do understand that KitchenAid needed to start competing with what is ahead in food processors. And there were some major changes and upgrade between this food processor and this one. So obviously you can tell the styling difference, right? Total and complete change in styling. And what's also changed in this one over this one is the size of the pusher. We've come to a multiple level pusher on this one, and it's really large to put in large pieces of, vegetables or fruits or whatever you're going to chop up. So this was a major change. Another major change is they changed the handle on the bowl from the front to the side. People think you can get better access to the buttons when the handle is on the side versus the front. This food processor also brought in the mini bowl. So this has the outer large bowl and the mini bowl for doing your herbs. These generations do not have that. Also, the major change, and this is one issue with some of the Cuisinarts that they're still making, is these are using adjustable blades. This one is adjustable on the fly in the front. Some of them, like the Breville, are adjusted on the blade. This one you can adjust midstream. So I know what you're saying. All those upgrades are fantastic from this to this, but all is not totally well in the food processor world, right?
Miss Amy, what do you think about the motor?
When you pick up this, there's a nice weight to it. This, you could toss this around like a little jelly bean, right? There's nothing to this food processor. Plus, I personally feel that the motor is a lot slower from this than this. Does that mean that, oh, I don't like it because, this one is going to shave off 2 seconds over this one? That's silly. But really, I feel like that goes to the overall power. When I'm using a food processor, I'm used to having a lot of speed, a lot of zzz to it. And I just really don't feel like you have that with this model than this model. So this model has now had an upgrade again since I got this one. The basic model is the same. They've just added a dicer in this model. And I'm sure they couldn't do that here. So the jump was necessary, but there's just things about this food processor that I don't think are great. The buttons are really hard to push. You just have to push them. And I also think that the motor is just slow to me compared to the old food processors. So it's like a trade-off, I guess you could say. So these kind of fail at the issue of having to buy a ton of blades because every blade on your slicing blade is a different thickness. They didn't adjust. So that was really a pain because if I bring out all the blades for this food processors, it would cover this whole area, right? Because there's tons of blades, a lot more than this in terms of the number of basic slicing and shredding blades. So you ask, what's this beast on the end, right? This is actually the Proline version. It's currently still being sold. It is a monster, and it comes, we did a full unboxing in a test and review on this, and this thing comes with everything. So if you're going to really compare apples to oranges, you're probably going to compare this Proline against the Breville, because it's 16 cups. It comes with everything you're going to need. There's a few little blades you can buy on the side. And of course, there's like a juicer and all that kind of stuff that you can buy on the side. But this one comes with a giant suitcase full of stuff. This one comes with a lot of stuff. These you really had to buy everything separately. So you ask, why don't I just get rid of these? No, right? I love my old food processors. This is like my little baby. This came along at the same time my very first KitchenAid came along. I still have that KitchenAid. I won't get rid of it, and I won't get rid of my little food processor. I pull these out every once in a while. They are clunkier in terms of getting the lids on and off, but I still love them. So my plan in the future, as soon as I can get to it, is to sort of test the old versus the new. I'm going to sort of take the Proline out of it because it's in its own little world. But I kind of want to take these and do some basic chopping against the newer model and see, how these perform. What about the, design change? What might make you want to go out and buy a used food processor as opposed to a new one? Do you want the fancy features, or do you want to go with the basic model? I think it would be very interesting to see how these design changes affected the overall performance of the food processor, not really in light of all the fancy stuff that comes along with this one, but just in terms of its basic function. Did we lose anything between generations from my first one to the one after that to the current? So let me know down in the comments if you'd be interested to see a little battle between the old and the new for KitchenAid food processors. So if you aren't in my Facebook group, go ahead and send me a request at facebook.com/groups/Amy Learns to Cook. We're having a good time in there. And let me tell you, my buddy James in the group, he recently posted a little video of a Kenwood mixer that he restored. This mixer was from the 1950s. Let me tell you, the mixer is absolutely fabulous. It is restored like it was brand new off the showroom floor. And I just want to give a little shout out to my buddy James. You did a heck of a job on that mixer, and that thing is a beauty. I would love to give that mixer a spin, right? So you never know, someday Amy Learns to Cook might end up with a vintage Kenwood, because I'm really starting to love Kenwoods. They're becoming my second love, right? So tell me what you guys think of these food processors. I think these are fabulous, and for some reason I just can't let the old ones go. I guess that's the kitchen gadget geek in me. So what's up, guys? It's Wednesday. I hope you're having a great one. You're staying out of the rain. You're staying out of the soggy weather. We have cold weather coming up, so just be prepared. It's time to start thinking about cooking. It's time to start thinking about hauling in all the stuff off the deck and start thinking about coming back to the kitchen and and making pumpkin pie, as Eric obviously wants some, right? No pumpkin spice, though. I refuse to make any of that, right? So I hope you're having a great week. I hope you're getting ready for fall and the upcoming holiday season. And I hope you guys are having a lot of fun with your kitchen gadgets and your food processors. If you like this video, please subscribe below and leave me a comment and a like, and visit my website at amylearnstocook.com. I'm also on Twitter and Pinterest at Amy Learns to Cook, and on Instagram, I'm at Cookin' with Amy. If you watch my food processor pie crust video, this is a food processor. So, tell me what you guys think of these food processors.